My sister was in some real need of help, so I said, hey, come live with us, get away from your abusive husband. I just want you to be safe and feel free. Well, it turns out that was the biggest mistake I've ever made because this so-called sister of mine turns out to be an actual demon. I've just lost a friend of 10 years. I thought I knew him, but what he did to my sister-in-law was not cool. Recently, I've been put in a situation that nobody wants to be in, having to choose between family and a friend. I don't know whose side to take, because my sister-in-law says one thing while Josh, her ex-husband, says something else. He's acting out of character, not even caring that when he divorced her, he left her with not a penny to her name. It all started a couple weeks ago when my sister-in-law showed up at my mother-in-law's house, telling her she needed a place to stay. With her kids too? The retirement village my mom-in-law stays at's pretty strict about stuff like this, so she could only stay for a few days. When I talked to her, she confided in me that her husband kicked her out, and, well, the kids also, with nothing but the clothes on their back. I asked her why he would ever do that since they seemed to be having a happy marriage. Her husband was my friend for over 10 years, and he actually met her through me and my husband. I've also respected him and held him in a high regard, so such behavior led me to be very upset with him. For him to do something like this is something just so big, something really big must have happened. And so my sister-in-law must not be telling me everything that I need to know. As soon as I found out what happened, I called Josh, who was upset, and he told me that he did not want to speak to anyone in my family and that he was done with her. I asked him about the kids, and he said that he would get full custody of them and leave her with nothing. Not only that, but she has not been working for the past 3 years and depends on him. She says that he has become very verbally abusive towards her, and she suspects that there's another woman in the picture. This really scares me as a woman because you can never know what's going on behind your back. One moment you're in a marriage with kids, and the next your husband kicking you out with nothing. The worst thing is, before she quit her job to be a full-time housewife, I told her that she needed to have a plan. Anything could happen, and he would not be able to work, or there could be an emergency. Instead, she used the money that she got to work and, well, bought herself a car, saying she might start Ubering other kids from school for extra cash. This was something she did, and she did not get to do it often, and I was not sure how much money she was bringing in. We were now stuck with the problem of what to do now that she did not have a job, any money, or a place to stay. So my husband and I talked, and we decided that we would allow her to stay with us. I don't know how long that we would allow her to stay, because we only have a small apartment for us 3 with our son as well, and we only have 2 bedrooms. We've been living in peace though, but the problem I seem to see is that she's having a hard time coming out of it. She got absolutely nothing from him when the divorce finalized, which is pretty funny because she did not have a job and they've been married for 7 years. I've seen Josh several times then, and each time he refuses to talk to me and tells me that I've chosen sides even though we've been friends for a decade. He told me that I had no idea his side of the story and I should be careful when I, let somebody like her stay in my house. To me, it felt like a warning, but I do not understand. My sister-in-law is a very good person and has been supportive of me and my husband for years, even before she got divorced. She was always available when we needed a last-minute babysitter, never charging us because we're family. From what I've experienced with her, she's a kind and honest human, but so is my friend. So it is really difficult because I don't know what's really happening and I've already lost a friend. It's been days now since she got a divorce, and I noticed that she's been drinking really heavily. I'm a bit scared that this will lead her to spiraling out of control. I can see that the new responsibilities that she has are weighing down on her, but I don't know how to support her, so she may one day go get a job. So I just need to know from you guys if you've ever had a family member or friend go through such a rough divorce, and how you've supported them so they can carry on with life. Also, do you think it would be a good idea for me to seek out Josh and ask him about what really happened and why he hates our family so much? I don't know, guys. It does not sit well with me that he had a sudden character change and was so heartless towards her all of a sudden. It scares me that you think you know someone when you are very far from the truth. Update number 1. It's been a month since the post. I want to thank everybody for the advice as well as your insight into the whole matter. So, my sister-in-law's finally stopped drinking and is trying very hard to pull her weight. The problem is that I'm having is with my neighbor. One neighbor in particular. Before my sister-in-law came along, we were already having a very hard time staying with her. She's a young woman who works long hours and has this very loud motorbike. She's also very hard to live with due to the noise that's always coming out of the room at all hours of the day. More than once, I've lost some clothes on the washing line or felt as if my money was missing. As we were the only two on the floor, I suspected it was her sketchy friends, and I confronted her. Even since then, she's barely greeted me and made it a point to complain about my child, blaming him for stuff that he's not done. Earlier this year, she blamed my son for clogged up toilets. Our bathrooms share the same pipes, apparently. Well, that caused a problem that we had for days, and she said that she found something that looked like a toy car in there, which is an utter load of nonsense because my son hates toy cars. In fact, well, other than her, I get along with some of my neighbors. I got home today to find my sister-in-law crying. When I asked her what's going on, guess who the culprit was? My neighbor and one of the other girls downstairs. Ava just asked both of them if they knew any places hiring because she is simply looking for a job. Both of them said that they would look for a place for her, but hours later when she was downstairs, she heard them gossiping about her, calling her an alcoholic who was left by her husband and had no place to go, and nobody would ever hire her. Some people are just inconsiderate, and I went and confronted the two of them who told me an utter load of nonsense that they were not mean to her. They just said that the industry they work in might not be the best for somebody her age. I feel they have no right to shame her for going through some stuff in life. She's been putting in applications for jobs that she's overqualified for, but she's having a hard time. I told the two of them that I hope none of them would ever go through something like this. Update number 2. Well, things escalated fast after that because now my landlord wants to discuss increasing my rent because, apparently, we've been using much more power and water ever since my sister and her kids started staying here. There are families with more than 5 people staying here, and they pay the same rent as us. I know for a fact that Rochelle, my neighbor, was the one who dared to go and complain. You see, my sister-in-law told me that she also saw a scratch on her car that looked like, well, it came out of Rochelle's bike. My husband went to talk to her to request that we should all make peace, but no. Miss Rochelle here told us there would only be peace if we moved out. I don't know why she has such a problem with my family, especially since my sister started staying here. Also, something really weird happened today at home. So, I always leave some money for my son to buy some lunch for school, right? I put the money on the living room table, as always, but he says he did not see it. No one in my family would take that money, but now I've started to think of months ago when stuff would go missing at home. The worst part is that no one in my family admitted to doing it, and I know this place is not safe. Not with Rochelle's sketchy friends who are here all the time. I'm sure it was one of them who entered my house and took the money. The past few days have been really icy between us. She appears to have a huge grudge against me and my sister, and I know for certain that she was the one who put the complaint in. We already pay more rent than necessary for this small, stupid apartment, but now we have to pay more because of her. Update number 3. So, the rent thing got sorted out, but I think something happened to my sister. She refuses for us to go report him to the police, but there's no denying the marks on her neck. So it's been a while since I decided that I needed to talk to Josh about what happened, so that I may be able to help her if she was treated badly, and I told her that I was going to talk to Josh, and my husband agreed that it would be a good idea. Already the kids go to his house once or twice a week, but we need her and Josh to be at least on amicable terms for the sake of the children. So anyways, she beats me to it. Today after work, she told me that she went to his house. She has not gotten paid yet, so she needs some money to buy medicine for one of her sons. She doesn't want to take money from my husband and me, and says that we have been so good to her. She says that she went to, his workplace and asked for money for their son, but he thought that she was lying, and they ended up getting into an argument. Sure enough, she does have marks on her neck that indicate strangling, but she does not want to press charges. I wanted to go and talk to him like a person that I respect, but now I've lost totally all respect for him. It's gone. His life gets to go on like normal while she suffers, and now he has the nerve to lay his hands on her. She did not say if it was true for the first time, but some things are starting to come together in my mind. He was probably acting like this all along, and had been hurting her, but we simply did not know. I'm sickened by his behavior, and I strongly feel that he should be punished for doing and everything that he has to put her through. She told me to let it go, but I will not stand by and let this happen. When my husband found out about this, he was absolutely fuming. He just took the car and left, but I hope he did not go and do something that he'll regret. I know he's such an impulsive person. Guys, I really don't know what to do. The proof is right in front of me, but she does not want to go after him. She was silent about him abusing her, divorced her and left her, so she should have tried to fight. Please, can I have some ideas of how I can convince her to go after him legally? Update number 4. Okay, so everything's been a bit of a doom and gloom in the moment, with my sister-in-law and her husband as well as the living conditions at home. There has also been some arguments between me and my husband, and I was fine with her staying with us till she got back on her feet, but there's no denying that we're cramped in this apartment. I'm super drained and sometimes very frustrated that she does not want to pull her weight now that she's earning. She started dumping us with the kids and going out with friends, spending the little money that she had, and I warned her that her behavior was making it very hard for us to live in peace. Plus, she had to focus on rebuilding her life at the moment. Anyways, her brother does not want to hear anything bad about her and says that I should cut her some slack. So today, she ends up moving out. The vibes was a bit weird at home, and I don't know how to say it. I feel like sometimes she gives me an icy shoulder. She's always interrupting my alone time with my husband because she just wants to spend time with her brother, and I've been patient, but I'm kind of over it. So, when she told us she found a place to stay and was moving out, I was so damn relieved. It was a good place in a safe neighborhood and closer to both her workplace and the kids' school. We have had much more of a space at home now, and it's nice to see that the tension between us is less. Oh, and with regards to her husband, she says he apologized and wants to be more involved in the kids' lives. I don't know whether he has apologized yet, but yesterday when I saw him, he was not nice at all to me. I had to hold myself from telling him right then and there what a piece of crap he was. Update number 5. As I'm writing this, we have just come from her house. Somebody tried to break in, and from the signs, it was their crazy ex-husband. Now, I feel so bad for trying to get her to move out too soon. I would not hold it anymore after that. I called him and told him just what I think of him and how we will be pressing charges. I told him that she has not done anything to hurt him. This is the kind of caring Josh that I know. Well, I told him he needed serious help before he did something that he would regret. And can you believe the nerve of that man to make it seem like he was never at her place? He even denied strangling her, and when she came to ask for money, he claimed that he has been giving a monthly allowance for the kids and even herself, even though she does not deserve it according to him. I asked him what it was that she did to him, and he told me that I knew exactly what she did to him and that I was helping her to play her games. He told me that she was using me to further her own agenda, and I was hella confused. As what exactly was I supposed to know? Why did he not just come right out and tell me what she did? I could not help in this situation if I had no idea of what was happening. Trying to ask her was like talking to a brick wall because she knew nothing, and right now she's sleeping after crying for hours. She was still shaking when Dave checked up on her a couple of minutes ago, and I can't sleep, not when I know that he dared to invade her personal space like that and threaten her. I sure as hell hope that she was not the one who told him where she lived, because as soon as she starts letting him into her life even more, then she'll go back to him. It'll be a vicious cycle. My mother could tell her for free that if an abuser is not done with you, they will never let you leave. My mom paid with her life when my dad kept on abusing her, so seeing this happen to Ava breaks my heart. I could not save my mom, but I will help out Ava. Update number 6. My eyes have been opened to the truth, and it's ugly. Gruesome, even. I'm left here questioning my judgment. Would you believe me if I told you that my husband and I were about to go our separate ways after she moved in back with us? We did not see that she was the puppet master, pulling the strings. She's been pulling the strings all the time, but we're such fools, trusting the so-called victim. So, when she came back with a vengeance. She stopped going to work, blaming PTSD, and she did not want to pull her weight around the house. It was financially straining for us all, and when I tried to tell her that she needed to get her act together, she would run to her brother and twist my words until it looked like I was being verbally abusive. She did things that she knew would annoy me so that I would lose my temper and tell my husband to kick her out. In terms, she would make comments about how I was not good enough for her brother, because I did not support her. So, you must be wondering why I did not throw her out like the trash that she is. And that's because of her compulsive lying. She showed us texts that we were supposedly from Josh, where he would threaten her. She was an actress, a master manipulator, who made sure that we only saw what we needed to. Not only that, but I started to find that some of my clothings were missing as well as my jewelry, so I told my husband about it, telling him that I thought she was taking my stuff, and you know what she had to say? That Rochelle was the one taking my stuff, so I should confront her. Well, I did no such thing, because Rochelle and I are sworn enemies to this day. We don't even greet each other after a messy stunt she pulled. In fact, I was not speaking with any of my neighbors. I'm paranoid, not knowing who to trust and who not to. And then yesterday, crap hit the fan. She planned to embarrass me in front of my husband and make me seem like a liar so that he would divorce me and kick me out of the house. I told you how my neighbor Rochelle had a motorbike, right? Well, her keys went missing. She had no idea where they were for the whole day, and what was even worse was that in the boot was some valuable stuff that appeared to be missing. That morning, my sister-in-law asked to carry my bag for me. Not knowing anything, she put the keys in there. When I get to work, I find the keys hidden in a very small compartment, and I did not know how she thought I was never going to find those keys. When I got home, Rochelle was waiting, and she told me to empty my bag. I already knew that the keys were planted in there, so I just planted them on Ava instead. Rochelle found nothing on me, and she left, but I saw that Ava was mad that she did not find the keys on me. From the way Rochelle spoke, she appeared to think that I was a thief. So, she spoke about how she tried to be civil with me and did not want to start just blaming me, but everyone knew that we did not get along and I was still sour over exactly what happened. When she could not find those keys on me, I saw that she was more than mad, but that served her right, after what she had accused me of. As for Ava, I hoped that she would notice that the keys were back with her, and she would do the right thing. I could have told her brother what she did, but if she lost her brother due to this stupid mistake, then I was afraid that she would run back to the abusive man. Luckily, my husband was not there to witness the drama. I had completely forgotten about what happened when hours later she was still not back from fetching the kids from extracurriculars. I had already started making dinner, and my husband had just gone home and was taking a shower. That was when my other neighbor knocked on my door, screaming words that I could not understand about outside in a fight. When I got outside, I saw that Rochelle and Ava was pinned up by the wall and she was screaming her face out. And Rochelle's feet was a bag, and on top of it was an unmistakable shiny key. Ava screamed for me to help her out when she saw me, and she looked like a deer caught in headlights. That was when she let out a scream. Rochelle let her go and she fell onto the ground, and I saw the blood seeping out of her shirt and the look of shock on her face, so I went up to Rochelle and pushed her away from my sister-in-law, asking her why she would do that. It was clear that somehow she found out that Ava had stolen her bag and the keys. Rochelle later said in a statement to the police that she caught my sister-in-law trying to put the bag back in the boot of her bike. Apparently, the bag had very important stuff that you're better off not knowing about. My husband saw everything. with Rochelle asking her if she was the one responsible for the theft around the apartment. My sister-in-law just laid there begging her and saying that I framed her. We managed to get her to the hospital where she cannot run away from the truth of what she's done. She tried to gain my husband's sympathy, but my husband had seen and heard enough. He was very upset that she was lying, and I could see that he was going to say or do something that he would regret, so I decided to talk to her. I had a whole lecture to tell her about the consequences of her actions and how she had ruined the peace at our house now that it was going to be impossible for her to stay. As soon as he left, her whole mood changed. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're the one who's supposed to be lying here, not me." I felt like the wind had just been knocked out of my lungs when she said that, and even now I'm still reeling from the hate that was coming from her mouth. Her eyes were full of hatred, and she went off on me. She asked if I really thought I was going to get away with being the perfect one in the family after what I did to her. So, then I asked what it was that I did to her that was so horrible she did not think that she could forgive me. What was so bad that she felt she wanted to ruin my life? She told me that I was the reason that she's gotten divorced from her husband. She told me that I did not cover for her when I should have months ago. You see, apparently her husband suspected her of cheating, so one day when she did not come home, he asked me, and I just told him the truth that she's been canceling plans with me for weeks, saying that, well, he was sick. To me, he replied that maybe she went to get some medicine and then we were done. I completely forgot about that conversation, so she says that I should have just lied and that she was with me and not asked any questions. Her husband caught on that day and kicked her out. So he decided to come stay with me and ruin my life because she had it in her head that it was my fault. My husband answered from behind me that she got herself into this mess, and even if I knew the truth, it would not have been right for me to lie to my friend and compromise our friendship. She tried to argue, but he told her that we knew she was responsible for the theft at home and for trying to get me into a bit of trouble. He could not forgive her for what she did to me, but that's not all. For I went to Josh and told him everything because I had a feeling that the abuse story was a lie for her to stay in my house and ruin my marriage. Josh told me he did not want the details of the divorce to come out because he was so embarrassed about what happened. I asked him for permission to share this story because he's decided to come forward as a victim of abuse. So yes, she's been emotionally abusing him. The furthest that she's ever gotten was physical with him, as scratching and biting when they argue. He's never touched her or stalked her. She's done all this to herself. The past 24 hours have been a nightmare, and I need some time to sort it all out and process it. We'll try to give an update shortly. Thank you. Update number 7. Sorry I took so long in bringing you an update, but yes, I know there's so many questions that need to be answered, right? Well, I wanted everything to be settled down instead of giving an update for every small little detail. First off, my husband and I decided to move. Rochelle was charged, but the charges did not stick, and she wanted to countersue Ava for theft, but the whole thing just turned into a big mess. We decided to find another place to stay, otherwise things would have been awkward. I was scared as well because of the side of her that I saw. Last I heard that she was not completely off the hook because the contents of her bag were being investigated. Josh finally got the courage to expose her to the world, and we've been very supportive of him. We all realized that she manipulated us to serve only her selfish needs, but for others out there to be safe, we need to be open. There's a lot of people out there in this world doing the same to people that they claim to care about and get away with it. It's worse when it's a wife who abuses a husband because instead of supporting the man, well, the man gets laughed at. Anyways, she's been stripped of custody of the kids until she proves herself not to be a danger to people. So she's now supposed to go to therapy, and while I do not have the details of that, Josh did confide in me that she has a compulsive lying disorder. Hopefully she gets help for that because she needs it. Throughout all this, my mother-in-law knew nothing. There was no way that we could have stressed an old woman who wanted to rest. She was very heartbroken to hear all of her daughters that have been messing up, but she says that she feared Ava would do something like this. A mother knows her child, but sometimes it's not very easy to admit that one's child might have a problem. As for us and her, there's no love lost.
My husband and I want nothing to do with her. We've decided to get a restraining order against her. I don't feel safe. I get very jumpy at times, and I feel I cannot trust anybody at all. I have to tell myself sometimes that a person is just being nice to me and that they don't want to hurt me. What hurts me a lot is that children were exposed to this at such a young age, and I just hope it doesn't affect them too much in the long run. I know it was difficult for me to properly heal after what happened with my parents. For now, it seems there's nothing more than, what's going on. Things are not 100% known. Okay, but maybe they will be. Thank you guys for the advice and insight. Now it's just time for me to move on.
Wow, so it turns out that OP's sister-in-law is just a giant liar. She was never abused. She got kicked out of the house because she was a cheater. And I guess it's true, you just never really know the real truth about somebody. It doesn't matter how close you think you are. There's just some people that like to keep secrets hidden. Guys, if you've ever been in a situation like today's story, or even something similar to it, share your experience and your stories down below in the comment section. I love reading your experiences, and I'll try to pin the top comment that gets a lot of attention so we can all read it. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every single day. Similar topics about drama, including inheritance, wedding fiasco, mother-in-law disputes, you name it, we cover it. There's 3 ways to support the channel, and they're all super quick and super free. Subscribe, drop a comment, hit that like button. Thank you guys for those 3 things. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.